Statistics show that 1 in 4 women will experience prenatal or infant loss. It is staggering to know so many women will endure this heartbreak. I'm always caught off guard when I learn of another woman who has suffered this loss in silence. I am the 1 in 4. I am a member of the club no one wants to be a part of. But this group standing here tonight is one of the most loving, passionate, and protective groups I've ever been a part of. The bad news is that you have to experience the deepest grief to join this group. It is a grief so deep there is not even a name for it. As a parent, sibling, grandparent, aunt, uncle, or friend, our hearts must be so broken that they can never be repaired. Broken to the point that we will never get over it. But this is also the good news, because these babies live forever in the brokenness that just doesn't seal back up. And somehow, some way, we come out the other side. It's kind of like having a broken bone that just doesn't heal all the way. When the weather turns cold, we ache and we get stiff, but we learn to move through the pain. We even learn to dance, even if it's with a limp. This group provides the care and safety that allows us to learn to live amongst our grief. 6 years ago, everything changed because of a little boy who never opened his eyes or drew a breath. Even though he only weighed 14.6 ounces, our world was forever marked by his life. He tiptoed silently into the world. We were given just moments with him. But what an imprint his footprints have left on our hearts. I carried him for 21 weeks. In those weeks, we cherished and fell head over heels in love with a little boy we would name Aiden Thomas. He was a mover and a shaker. He loved grape juice and he danced all the time. We were out of town for a friend's wedding when I realized something wasn't right. I wanted to make sure we were okay to travel the 4 hours back home. It was in that ER that we realized I was dilated to a 6 without any signs of labor. And as they transitioned me to the Trendelenburg position to try and relieve the pressure off my cervix, our whole world flipped upside down as well. I laid there for more than 10 hours listening to the constant drum of his heart on the monitors. People were in and out of the room. The only constants were Aiden and I. I thought as long as I could hear that sound, I could lay there as long as it took. When my water inevitably broke and I realized we had run out of time, his heartbeat became the sound of my heart breaking. I couldn't save him. He was coming and I was going to have to say goodbye. At 5:38 p.m. on September 4th, 2011, Aiden Thomas was born. His heart stopped as he was born, and the silence in the room is still the most deafening sound I've ever heard. But what I couldn't believe was that somehow, mine had continued to beat. My broken heart was still beating while his perfect one was still. How does one come to grips with that? We spent the next 24 hours memorizing him. The next days were spent planning the perfect memorial, and the next months were spent trying to navigate our new normal with just an ounce of grace. It was in that first year that I desperately searched to connect with people who understood. It was here that I found a lot of the women standing here tonight. These are women who had walked this journey before me and were beacons of light in the darkness. From my own mom, to women I admired at church, to complete strangers. I found this group, and together we decided to start changing stories. We wanted to turn our heartbreak and passion, our grief, into acts of love. We were beginning to realize that we were running from the grief because it was scary and hard. But our hearts were actually reaching back towards the grief because we so badly needed to begin to heal. Out of this, the bereavement care in Central Arkansas has taken flight. Each of the hospitals have growing bereavement programs that are determined to better the only memories we families have of our children. They have created support groups to connect us and allow us to further this community. March of Dimes has stepped up and embraced this side of prenatal care and are supporting our families more than ever. Because of Mammy, we have puppy plates. Because of Ryan, micro preemies are dressed. Because of Eli, Mothers hold bears that actually weigh what their babies did. Because of Aiden, elephants are filling empty arms. Aiden's elephants began on Aiden's second birthday. I needed a way to give back. I can't stop it from happening to another family, but maybe, just maybe, I can change their story. That's what the elephants are about. A small way of connecting families and giving us something to hold when we can't hold our babies. I decided that Aiden wasn't going to be the tragedy that happened to our family. He is a part of our family, and his life has purpose. So it is because of his life that we live. I look out and I see moms who have joined the group since I have. Mamas I have held, mamas whose babies I have loved, mamas whose hearts are desperately looking for that safe place. This is it. This group of people gathered here tonight are the ones who will shine some light in the darkness. We are standing in the shadows loving you, saying your child's name and promising that you are not alone. Tonight, all around the world at 7 o'clock, families are lighting candles, flipping switches, and sitting in the dark remembering a child they love. It is because of groups like this that we will have a literal wave of light surrounding us, surrounding the world. A physical reminder that we are not alone and they are not forgotten. I challenge each of you to take the joy that your baby gave to you and put it back into the world. Honor their memory while knowing it is because of their lives that we live. Let your light shine and know that loss and heartache do not define you. They're just a part of your story.